Hello and welcome to another episode of World Football Summit at Home. I hope you're all doing good and staying safe. Today, my guest is Alexandre Dreyfus, CEO of selfies.com, leading fintech and fan engagement platform for the sport industry, with whom we will be discussing how blockchain technology can help, and in fact, it's already helping sport entities around the world. Hello, Alexandre. Thank you very much for joining us today. First of all, as we do with all our guests, we'd like to know how you are doing health-wise and how is your family and your team, which is obviously the most important thing these days.
Thanks, Paco, for the invitation. Happy to be with you guys today. Very well. I mean, it's a bit sad sometimes to say that we are well. You know, we don't want to feel guilty, but we are very lucky here in Malta because obviously the inconvenience of being an island is becoming an advantage today in a way that Malta is a small country. And today we have only 400 cases. There was 3 people, very old people who died, unfortunately. But it's very much contained, and our team as colleagues are also in a very safe environment. So finger crossed, but for now we are okay.
Well, we're happy to hear that, Alexandre, and we hope that that remains that way. How is the coronavirus pandemic affecting you at a professional level? Because I suppose you're having a lot of extra work these days, considering that fan engagement has become more important than ever for football entities and sport and sponsors, obviously with all major competitions paused.
So it's fascinating. I mean, again, don't want to look like, you know, we are trying to become opportunists because of the situation, because it's a bit weird. But the reality is, in our business, just to describe a little bit, socials.com is we are indeed a blockchain-based platform, but our business is about fan engagement and fan monetization. Our motto always have been, be more than a fan. And our vision was that 99.9% of the fans of all the biggest, at least, sports team in the world are not in the stadium. And in a sad twist of events, today it's 100%. And that 0.1% of fans actually gonna force the clubs really, finally, to really engage and try to offer something valuable for their fans all over the world. Because now, a fan that is in Barcelona that cannot have access anymore to Camp Nou is the same kind of fan, is a remote fan, the same way that me in Malta or someone in Japan or in Korea. So now we believe that clubs are going to spend much more efforts in order to engage with their global fan base, or their remote fan base, I will say. And for us, it is an opportunity to, I will say, push the narrative and the product that we've built for the last 2 years. And we work today with Barcelona, Juventus, Saint Germain, Atletico Madrid, Galatasaray, Roma, what was that? I don't know. Roma and few others. And the question for them is, hey, how can we engage our fan? How can we at some point gonna monetize them as well? How can we activate the sponsoring of people who spend thousands of millions of dollars? And how can we make it more global, local in every country? And there is all this reflection that are happening right now, and it is fascinating to be part of it. So we're spending a lot of money in order to try to get closer to all of these clubs. And we are very confident that what we are offering is actually making, sadly, but making more sense today than it was even doing it today, 2 years ago.
Yeah, Alexandre, keeping their fans engaged, as you were saying, and especially providing value to their sponsors are probably two of the biggest challenges that football clubs are facing since the coronavirus pandemic led to the suspension of all major competitions. Can you tell us a little bit more about how your platform, how selfies.com is helping its partners overcome this challenge?
Sure. I mean, you know, when you look, it's going to be interesting because I have a very, I would say, pragmatic and slightly realistic and a little bit pessimistic view of how it's going to be unfolded in terms of post-corona. I mean, there will be no post-corona, actually. There will be an exit strategy that's going to be gradient. But just to understand how we see it, we see the fact that the leagues are going to start again this summer with closed doors. There will be no, I mean, the end of the season, it's done. There will be no events with fans. That's like 99% sure. The question is when it's going to happen, but we think July, August, September at best. Then there will be a new season starting October, something like that. And for that, we do believe that it will be very limited in how you can have fans as well in the stadium, which of course will trigger less revenue in terms of F&B, ticketing, match day, everything related like this. And so clubs have to not only rethink what is the value that they are giving to the people in the stadium, how do they make sure that fans are safe in the stadium? And yesterday we just announced as well our initiative about COVID-19 and creating a blockchain-based actually immunity certificate checking, let's say, for a sports team that based on local regulation will allow people to enter in public places, including stadium. And we are trying to do a couple of pilots with a couple of major teams in Europe now. But the third point, which is the most important, is how me as a club, I can monetize these fans that are not anymore in my stadium, and how I can connect that to the activation of the clubs, of the sponsor. And for us, what we always said is the most valuable thing for a fan is to be listened, is to have a voice, is to be empowered, is to be recognized, and potentially to become like an influencer. And so what we do with socios.com is you as a fan can buy what we call a fan token, or you can be given as well for free, of course, a fan token of the team. And as an owner of that digital asset in your mobile app, you're going to be able to vote on decision of the club. Of course, you're not going to decide if you're going to buy or sell that player, but you're going to be able to decide fan-related decision. Could be the music in the stadium when there is a score, like Juventus did. Could be the message that was in the captain arm for Paris Saint Germain. Could be Juventus is announcing as well a special design for a jersey that will be sold in their stores that will be designed by the fans and shown by the fans. So plenty of things like that. And how we convert that into sponsors activation is you will argue that the fans are the ones spending the money of the jersey that are promoted by Adidas, Nike, etc. So maybe asking the fans, hey, between this and this, which one would you like to have? It's actually helping eventually to boost the sales of this product. Or when you have, for example, airlines company, which unfortunately right now are significantly damaged, obviously, because they lost like literally 90% of their business. But still, you could have, and we are working on that, for example, in Roma. Roma is sponsored by Qatar Airways. And the fan tokens holder of Roma will have access to benefits at Qatar Airways as well. So the goal is really to try to connect all of the sponsors together, trying to be the bridge between club, fan, sponsors, and trying to have this triangle that is powered or empowered by technology.
The coronavirus, I think, has proved that football clubs need to gradually reduce their reliance on live matches. Obviously, live matches is the main asset, but as you know, this crisis has proved that football entities have to create new marketable and especially digital assets. So in the long term, how can blockchain technology provide a solution through token fans for that challenge?
So I will put on purpose blockchain a little bit aside. Let's think about the consumer and the fans. But and you're right. The fact that till now there was in a stadium, let's say in average 50,000 people, there is a plateau. You cannot sell more tickets than what there is in the stadium. And at some point, you cannot sell tickets more expensively. You cannot sell sandwiches more expensive, etc. Now, with what happens, it's actually completely the opposite. We're going to have less people. There is no more plateau anymore, and you're going to have to sell it cheaper. So it's a bit it's very sad and it's a bit weird. But having said so, it also means that if you were before, when there was this plateau of let's say B2C revenue and match day revenue, is what are the other things that you can sell digitally that are scalable? Because at some point, when you really think globally, which are most of the clubs are, and even small clubs are still global brands right now, thanks to global distribution and broadcasting, of course. And the question is really about what can I sell to my fan in Thailand, in Latin America, or in a third-tier city in Spain or in France? And even if there is only 10 fans in the city, what can I give them? And it goes back to what we believe. It's this fan token, which is this digital asset, which not only give you a voice, but also give you a recognition. What do I mean? I mean that for now, fans are very fragmented. Actually, the real question in 2020 is, what is a fan? Is a fan someone that goes in the stadium? Used to be, yes, but not anymore. Is a fan someone that bet on BWin, on Bet365, or on whatever stuff, but is not connected to the club? I'm betting every week on Barcelona, but I never been to the club. I bought my fake jersey because I live in another country, and I don't even follow them on Twitter because I'm a bit old school and I don't care about Twitter. So how do you define a fan? How do you engage with these fans knowing that they are very fragmented? Our vision, and it's very naive and crazy, but is by issuing this digital asset, I give you a recognition, I empower you for that. And most importantly is, I live in a third tier city in Spain. Actually, I live in Malta. In my case, I live in Malta. So I live in Malta. I'm a Barcelona fan. So me as a platform, I know that Alex is in Malta. Alex has 100 Barcelona fans. Alex voted every time there was a question in the platform. And Alex participated in all the community stuff that are in the platform. Thanks to this for information, I'm creating a scoring with a formula. And suddenly, Alex become one of the top 100 influencer, Socios 2.0 of Barcelona in Malta. So I'm coming from being a nobody, being not recognized. I do not exist in the ecosystem of Barcelona and other teams. And suddenly I exist, I'm recognized, and therefore I can be rewarded and I can be awarded. I'm awarded as a super fan, and I can be rewarded because of the activation with the sponsors. Maybe because I'm a super fan in Malta, if I go to a Nike shop here, I'm gonna get 10% thanks to that. And all of that kind of things, the last mile component is what we believe is gonna be relevant more and more in the next few years.
Talking about the future, Alex, the coronavirus crisis, we all agree that it's probably going to reshape the sports industry. There's a lot of uncertainty these days, obviously, but it seems clear that in the new era, technology will play an even more significant role in many different aspects of the game and of the industry. How do you see blockchain technology in this new context?
For example, there was a lot of topic about ticketing, blockchain and ticketing, which is true, but reality is ticketing is going to be destroyed by what's happening right now. Because of course it's going to be half of stadiums are going to be empty, if not more, at least for the next year or so. So that's not the business model. That's never been our business model, and that's not where we are going. I'd say, yeah, the two main things for us. Still, I'm going back to my fan token and the voting. The blockchain helped me to ensure that unlike when you're watching The Voice on TV in Spain or in any other country, or it's called X Factor or whatever TV show where you can vote with your SMS, you actually have no clue if what you voted is relevant. Now I'm telling you as a fan that you can vote and your vote is guaranteed, and you can actually have transparency of that. That I think it's going to be relevant. I wish somehow, and we are not doing that in all transparency, but I wish somehow that even the voting of traditional socios for Real Madrid, Barcelona, and I think Bilbao, I'm not sure what are the teams in Spain, but that could use blockchain as well for the voting, because the vote, I think Barcelona is next year, except if there is a big drama in the meantime, you never know. But normally the voting is next year. And I hope that by next year, having a room of 10,000 people will be acceptable. But if it's not, it will become digital as well. And that's where blockchain will be relevant as well. I said 10,000 people, but it's actually even more. But for us, back to our point, it's really about voting, transparency. Blockchain can be used for merchandising as well, for traceability of real product. We don't do that. There is companies that are very good in this, and that's not our business, but we can help. And what we are working on and what we announced yesterday, as I said, is for the people that will be on title and that will eventually go in stadium, will be to guarantee both identity and safety in terms of their immunity and let's say immunity.
In a more general or wider perspective, how do you think the sport industry is going to be once we hopefully get over this pandemic and go back to our normal lives. What do you think are going to be the main changes?
First, there is no normal. There will be no normal. There will be a new normal. The same way the 9/11 made it normal that you cannot have a bottle of water going into the plane and that you have to undress every time you go into the plane, which you would have said, this is crazy 20 years ago. No, it's the new normal. We think that you're going to have to rethink the live experience and make it valuable for me to take a risk to go in a stadium. We think that there is something, for example, we haven't talked about at all, and it's sad, and it affects us actually negatively. But the money can't buy experience, meaning that I'm going, I won a VIP experience with Barcelona, and I'm going to meet Messi. This is not happening anymore. Do you think that the CEO or the president of Barcelona is going to let you, that potentially has a virus, going to touch Messi? Not happening in the next 12 months. And all these small things that are fan related, that are going to vanish, it's scary because shit, that was valuable. I mean, I have my picture, you know, I'm doing my selfie with Messi, and every time the bus is going into the stadium, you have usually the players touching the hand of the fans and stuff like this. This is not going to happen anymore because they cannot afford that. Because if they put in danger either their fans or, most importantly, if I say the players, it can damage their business and damage the league and damage all of this. So all of these small things going to vanish, at least for the next 9 to 12 months. We need a vaccine first, and that's going to take time. And that's going to be spread. But so, yeah, they're going to have to be more digital. They're going to have to rethink. But it also means for clubs that they're going to have to change the way they sell sponsoring packages. What can I sell to a sponsor when I cannot sell you tickets, VIP box, money can buy experiences? What can I sell you? So all of that has to change. And is it scary? Oh, yeah, big time. But it's exciting because clubs going to become more humble, which honestly is kind of needed. And it means that we're going to have to be more creative. But that's when we are challenged that we get the best out of it. So if we all work together to try to overcome that, then it's going to be awesome.
Thank you very much, Alex, for shedding more light on the important role that blockchain technologies can play in that new normal life that, as you mentioned, is awaiting all of us once the coronavirus is finally beaten. Not only in terms of fan engagement, of course, but also through those blockchain-based immunity passes that you mentioned. We hope everything remains under control in Malta, and hopefully we'll be able to see you very soon at a World Football Summit event.
Thanks, Paco. Bye-bye.